Right now, Chronicle rolls out a tasty treat.
The chocolate chip is your best friend. The chocolate chip is your confidant.
Pittsburgh's cookie traditions.
I got my cookies here for my wedding, so again, it's only tradition to have these delicious cookies for my daughter's wedding on Saturday.
From the smiles we know.
It's just sharing that positivity, sharing that smile, and the fact that we're able to do that for every kid after their meal is really special.
To the lesser known faves.
It just tastes homemade. Like there's nothing like it.
The community traditions.
I'm a cookie queen. I like cookies and I like baking.
It was like combining Christmas with like trick-or-treating.
And desserts that make the whole family happy.
If you want a Pittsburgh classic cookie, you gotta go to Good Lovin'.
So grab a tall glass of milk and get ready to take a bite out of the Steel City.
Fluffy, gooey in the center, kind of exactly what you want with a chocolate chip cookie.
This is Chronicle, a cookie town.
Welcome to Chronicle. I'm Michelle Wright.
And I'm Janelle Hall. We're here at the Oakmont Bakery, and today we're taking a bite out of something that's iconic in the Steel City, cookies.
From the smiley cookie that's the symbol for a homegrown restaurant chain to the inescapable Pittsburgh tradition of the wedding cookie table. We're examining every morsel that makes cookies synonymous with Pittsburgh.
Michelle, that cookie table is something our Lily Coleman has been learning about in recent weeks, and she's joining us with much more on that now.
Janelle, I discovered that the wedding cookie table isn't just a symbol of a young couple's nuptials, it's a symbol of family tradition. When you hear the word Pittsburgh, what comes to mind? Maybe a bridge or two, maybe this or even these guys. Or maybe, just maybe, you think of this. The Pittsburgh cookie table is about as iconic as you can get.
Cookies connect us to each other. They connect us to our roots. The people who have moved, who have left the Pittsburgh area, who have gone all over the country, they've taken Steeler Nation with them, but they've taken Cookie Nation with them.
A tradition that spans generations of Yinzers, recipes, and legacies passed down one cookie at a time.
I think of myself as the accidental cookie table lady. I have no training in this other than how I lived my life. The origins of cookie tables have to do with blue-collar immigrant backgrounds, and I'm kind of a combination of both.
Laura Magone is the granddaughter of 4 Italian immigrants. Her grandparents were miners and mill workers, her dad a steel worker. But her mom, Wanda, was the biscotti queen.
My mom encouraged me to bake, and she was so nice, she would clean up after me. She didn't even care if I cleaned up or not. She was happy to have me baking and cooking in the kitchen.
Wanda shared her love of baking with Laura, who now shares that same passion with more than 300,000 bakers online through her Facebook group, the Wedding Cookie Table Community.
It is a really big community for sure, and I think the cookies connect us to so many things.
Who thumbs up? I love it.
Connections to things, places, and people. So with that in mind, I knew I needed to pay a visit to Pittsburgh's North Hills.
This was Goggy's recipe, so I have been making these since I was probably 4 years old. This was my favorite thing to do with your great-grandmother.
This is my aunt, Ellen, but everyone calls her E.E. She is our cookie queen. Most days you'll find her in the kitchen with her sous chef, my grandmother, who we call Poo Poo.
I live in the kitchen because I love everything here. I love to cook, I love to bake, we have fun.
And thank goodness they think it's fun, because it is a time-consuming labor of love. In fact, together, these two are likely responsible for hundreds of thousands of dozens of delicious treats on wedding cookie tables across the country, mine included.
You had a cookie table, Boston had a cookie table, Sid's gonna have a cookie table, because I love doing it. It's just so much fun.
There's about 50 to 60 different kinds of cookies in their repertoire. Some are family recipes from my great-grandmother. Some are recipes they got from friends, and even some are from other bakers that are also a part of Laura's Facebook group.
I'm just dipping them into chocolate, giving them a little edge, and it just gives them that extra goodness. And like I said, extra calories, but
They don't count.
No.
Each has been perfected over the years, and they all taste as good as they look. But it's more than just a delicious treat. Truly, for them, it's a way of showing love.
What I love best about baking is just the joy I get from doing cookies for other people, and it's actually seems like something a lot of people do not do anymore is make homemade cookies. So I like it.
A personal love story connecting them to the past while celebrating the future. One that they hope continues for many years to come.
And I really hope that when I'm gone someday that this tradition will continue for generations to come. So it's on Margot's shoulders, Donnie's shoulders, Bella's shoulders, like the whole little gang has to get with it.
No exploration of cookies in Pittsburgh would be complete without talking about the granddaddy of them all, the iconic Eaton Park Smiley cookie. That famous smile is steeped in a nearly 40-year history of bringing smiles to children right after dinner. Sometimes a cookie is much more than a cookie. It takes on a personality of its own. A personality to make you smile.
It has evolved from a cookie into an icon and has inspired their purpose, which is to create a smile.
It started in 1986 when Eaton Park started giving out free cookies to kids. Then 4 years later, an ad agency saw that cookie and spotlighted it.
They showed him the cookie and it was big and fun. And he said, "This is your icon. This is your critter. Let's use this." And he put it everywhere.
But it was so popular, adults wanted to buy them too. So more icing was needed to create even more smiles.
The Smiley cookie is such a pivotal part of the Eaton Park experience for kids and adults alike. So we want to make sure that everyone gets that smiling cookie that is so resemblant of Eaton Park and everything that the Smiley cookie means to Pittsburgh.
It started with the former chairman, Jim Broadhurst, and his favorite childhood cookie.
His mother would give him a nickel every day so that he could go into Warner's Bakery and buy an iced cookie, a sugar cookie, had white icing on it, and in green icing painted a smiley face. And Jim loved that cookie. So when, let's go forward a few years, when Jim had decided to put bakeries into the restaurants, he remembered that cookie from his childhood. So he sent his staff to Warner's Bakery in Titusville. They learned how to make the cookie and brought it back to the restaurants, and here we are, many millions of cookies later.
Soon, the cookies expanded. There were various colors. Then there were holiday versions. Then famous people like Pirates pitcher Paul Skeens. And now you can even order custom Smiley cookies for weddings or events on smileycookie.com.
You know, when you're looking at these, you can't help but smile yourself. All these cookies are smiling right back at you.
Lynn McMahon literally wrote the book on the Smiley cookie. As part of the restaurant's 75th anniversary, she wrote the story behind the smile.
I mean, it's a marketing marvel, really, that this cookie has become an icon and has come to symbolize so much, the focus on creating smiles, but the focus on Pittsburgh and the community. And that's a commitment that Eaton Park takes very seriously, from creating smiles for guests and team members in the community. And that Smiley cookie has led the way.
How long does it take to learn how to do this?
I would argue that you are never done practicing.
I wanted to see what was involved in decorating that iconic smile. Courtney Cook took me to the Eaton Park kitchen to show me. It takes concentration.
You're gonna come up kind of at a 45-degree angle from your nose, and your eyes should be a little bit bigger than your nose.
Precision.
We're gonna start with the little dimples, and then it's a big U shape with another dimple on the other side.
And stamina.
Start with your little slant here, and then do a big swoop and kind of let the icing fall, and then do your dimple on the other side. I think that's pretty good. So now we can just move on to the next one and keep practicing.
My cookie looks afraid.
But she reminded me that even if my smiles aren't perfect, the feeling it gives you inside.
And that's the heart of this, you know, that's where this all started. So in 1986, our former chairman, Jim, introduced the cookies into the restaurants, you know, for kids, for that reason, at the end of their meal, that they have something to look forward to. And that remains what's at the heart of Smiley Cookies today. It's just sharing that positivity, sharing that smile, and you know, the fact that we're able to do that for every kid after their meal is really special.
The interesting thing about the Smiley Cookie is that it has grown to extend beyond the walls of the restaurants, right? It is a part of our community. It's a part of our upbringing. So because we have grown up with the Smiley Cookie over almost 40 years, we associated it with so much of our growing up.
It just tastes homemade.
Stay with us, because we've only taken the first bite out of Chronicle, a cookie town. Coming up,
We make ours a little different and a little special.
the local bakery getting major recognition for its chocolate chip cookie, and a look at the secret behind their success. Plus,
3, 2, 1.
a Chronicle exclusive, a first taste of the brand new Girl Scout cookie. What these young scouts are saying about the new treat, and how they say the annual cookie sale builds bonds that last a lifetime. All of that and more when Chronicle, a cookie town, returns after this.
Welcome back to Chronicle. Now to the story of a mother's love for baking being passed down 3 generations.
It's a passion that blossomed into a flourishing business thanks to years of hard work and sacrifice to get to this sweet point in their lives, where their company's name is, for so many people in the North Hills, synonymous with cookies.
You want a Pittsburgh classic cookie, you gotta go to Good Lovin'.
That is 4.
Inside the Good Lovin' Cookie Shop in Ross Township and Bellevue.
We're just huge gourmet cookies.
I always say we do everything like your grandma did, only in bigger batches.
We have huge 5-inch cookies and all different flavors that, you know, that are crazy.
Some are true to Pittsburgh.
Like the Steel City Crunch.
Some are just true to people's hearts. We also do a strawberry pretzel salad cookie. Of course, you know, it's a Pittsburgh thing.
So is the Pittsburgh Pothole Cookie.
That was right when the bus fell into downtown.
That 2019 reference to a Port Authority bus in a sinkhole in downtown Pittsburgh turned into a cookie packed with peanut butter chips, brownies, and Cocoa Crisps.
I get to come into work every single day, and I can create a new cookie if I want to. We have over 150 different flavors of cookies.
I'm a kind of a lazy baker, and I find little cookies tedious to make, so I used an ice cream scoop, and thus began the nice big cookie.
Something Deanna Soust always dreamed would happen.
It just boggles my mind that coming from such a humble start to this.
The story of a mother's mission to find success after so much sacrifice.
So now you're going to make me cry.
Deanna Soust started the business 11 years ago when she rented a space to bake in the back of a coffee shop in Bellevue.
I would go in after I put my daughter to bed, I'd go in and bake until like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
She was constantly baking throughout the day, and I remember her picking me up even after school, and she would take me straight to a farmer's market, and I would be right there with her selling cookies.
Fast forward to today.
Good morning.
Olivia is still selling cookies alongside her mother, this time as part owner of the family business.
It, you know, makes me very proud. And
we work together as a fantastic team.
I think in the beginning when she was young, she might have resented it a little bit because I did take my time in the evening away from her. But now she sees it, and now we have our evenings together. So it's been a full circle, but it's been great.
Now that I'm older and that I'm in it, it's like I understand the sacrifices, and the success that we have together today is just unbelievable, and it is totally worth it.
We asked the lead baker at Good Lovin', besides her own business, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of cookies in the Burgh?
Nancy B's comes to mind first. I mean, people just know Nancy B's, and I have great respect for them. Their cookies are fantastic.
So that's where we traveled to next, so we could show you what the buzz over Nancy B's is all about and which cookie really put them on the map.
It's just a cookie that you know you can always go to. We make ours a little different and a little special, and there's a few secrets in it.
Nancy B's is consistently ranked as one of the best chocolate chip cookies in the Berg and beyond.
We've been blessed. I think the reason that I enjoy this so much is because we had to build it from what it was.
After hard work and a humble start to their business,
There were days, weeks, that we had to decide whether we pay the light bill or the phone bill.
that struggle helped spark the idea to find the next best sweet treat to serve here in West Homestead through a cookie tasting contest.
When we did the contest, my mom didn't even want to make a chocolate chip cookie. She said, every bakery has a chocolate chip cookie. Why would we do what every other bakery does? And it just was magic. It took off.
The one that won is now their coveted cookie.
It just tastes homemade.
And that's our huge seller, and that's our big draw.
I had to come here for these cookies.
We mail them all over the world, everywhere. Afghanistan, Kuwait, Iraq, Germany, Poland, Switzerland, United Arab Emirates.
The cookies are also a big hit
I have 14 weddings tomorrow.
for brides and grooms.
I am here to pick up my daughter's wedding cookies, and we could not have a cookie table for Pittsburgh without Nancy B's cookies. I got my cookies here for my wedding, so again, it's only tradition to have these delicious cookies for my daughter's wedding.
Anne says her daughter's wedding was beautiful in every way, complete with the family tradition of a cookie table that included dozens of cookies from Nancy B's.
We've mailed cookie tables to Denver. We've mailed cookie tables to California, LA. We've mailed cookie tables to Maine, Michigan, Florida. It's very expensive, but it's sort of cool.
Sharing milestones and memories with customers over the past 40 years, but never sharing the recipe that led to their success story with the chocolate chip cookie.
I think that for me personally, that's going to be my legacy, is that cookie, you know, because me and my mom came up with that recipe together. She's been gone for 3 years. We worked together for over 38. You know, that was my buddy.
His mother's name on the side of the building, forever synonymous with chocolate chip cookies here in the Pittsburgh area.
She was my everything. She had this positivity and always smiled, always smiled. And I think she brought life to this place, you know, and I'm trying to continue that, and so far so good.
We say every day is a holiday at Oakmont Bakery.
An inside look at the iconic Oakmont Bakery, the classic treats that have tempted taste buds and even sparked debates.
And at that time, it really wasn't as much of a hot button thing, you know, but we're not going to stop doing them.
Chronicle, a cookie town, returns in just enough time for you to grab another cold glass of milk.
Welcome back to Chronicle, a cookie town. And if Pittsburgh's a cookie town, Sweet Street here in Oakmont is its main street where all of your cookie dreams come true. I'm bringing Lily Coleman back in now, and Lily, you got to get an inside look at the operation here at the Oakmont Bakery.
Michelle, when you hear Oakmont Bakery anywhere in Pittsburgh, eyes go wide and mouths start watering. So I wanted to find out some of the secret ingredients into what makes an Oakmont Bakery treat so unique.
There's a constant hum on Sweet Street in Oakmont. The store packed with patrons, while employees behind the scenes channel their inner Christmas elves, keeping the shelves magically stocked for the next round of shoppers. If you ask me, this is as close as you can get to the North Pole.
We say every day is a holiday at Oakmont Bakery.
That's Mark Sorreo, the Santa to this workshop, if you will. His goal, spreading cheer and goodwill all year round.
The bakery itself is just, it's like such a dream come true.
What started as a dream and a small shop led to multiple major expansions and eventually the building of this current state-of-the-art facility that we all know and love. Home to some of your favorite cakes, donuts, pies, and of course, cookies. Mark's favorite?
The chocolate chip. I think our chocolate chips are amazing.
And he's not alone. Sorreo says the classic cookie is the bakery's best seller. They make 2 batches of chocolate chip cookies each day. And, well, 2 batches may not sound like a lot.
There's 120 dozen in a batch, so 250 dozen a day. And this, you know, our volume is, even to me, it's like, it's mind-blowing.
And that's just one kind of cookie. There's literally dozens and dozens and dozens to choose from. With all of those choices and the insane demand, Efficiency is key.
Early on, we dropped our cookies similar to how you would drop them at home. You know, people use a spoon. We would actually put them in our hand and drop them, each one individually. And because it was so important for our productivity to be up, we would have the bakers would race. And we actually got it down to we were able to drop, I think it was 100 dozen chocolate chips in 45 minutes was the fastest. And we would have these races. And then I ended up buying a cookie machine.
And this machine drops about 25 dozen cookies a minute. From there, the treats are loaded onto trays, into the oven, and voila. With the finishing touches like a Hershey Kiss here and some piped jam there, these cookies are ready to enjoy. There's no secrets here either. Sorreo says their recipe to success is simple.
Use the best ingredients, you get the best product.
And it's not just your classic staples. The talented folks here at Oakmont Bakery like to have some fun too. From pop culture to politics.
Some things that don't seem fun, like the political cookies, sometimes really rub people the wrong way. But we've been doing political cookies for 25 years. And at that time, it really wasn't as much of a hot button thing, you know. But we're not going to stop doing them. People love them, both sides, you know. We don't give our opinion on any way inside the bakery or outside of the bakery.
There's a little something for everyone, and the Sorreo family takes great pride in that.
It's all about good stuff, you know, tasting good. And when when there are times when you can't buy a house or a car, but you can always buy a dozen of cookies.
Next on Chronicle.
I was able to create this business as a way to help others.
We take you to the Cookie Co-op.
We are very humble women, and we come from a very humble family.
The local cookie shop baking up opportunities in the face of some major challenges. And before we go to break, did you know that Pittsburgh's most popular amusement park, Kennywood, is home to both coasters and cookies? That's because those famous Nancy B's cookies we told you about earlier in the show are available at the park. At the 1898 Coffee Company.
Very excited to have Nancy B's cookies here at the park. You know, we love partnering with local companies and organizations and bringing some of that Pittsburgh flair to Kennywood.
The partnership has been going on for a few years, but Chronicle had to ask the big question. When visiting the park, when exactly is the best time to grab a cookie?
You can stop here, grab a coffee, grab a cookie, and you really can't think of a better way to start your Kennywood day.
And what if you want one a little later in the day?
I would suggest getting your cookie after the ride. Talk about steel curtain, probably a good reward for conquering the tallest coaster in the state.
Much more sweetness when Chronicle, a cookie town, returns after this.
Welcome back to Chronicle, a cookie town. Sometimes when you make cookies so delicious, it can be hard to stay humble, but humble is exactly how to describe a small cookie shop in Hopewell Township, Beaver County, where they put humble right in the name. Every morning and afternoon,
this is the hardest part.
Alicia Pizer helps ensure students get to class safely while serving as a school crossing guard.
In the car.
Before and after.
I've been doing it for a couple years now.
Serving sweet treats from her business in Beaver County.
Welcome to my humble abode.
Here at the Humble Cookie Shop in Hopewell Township.
We're humble people, so we wanted to portray that in the name.
The chocolate chip and peanut butter cookies are the big sellers, and so are these.
The stuffed s'more cookie is hugely popular. We've taken classic recipes and gave them a slight twist. It's not your grandmother's cookie anymore. All right.
But it is that same love for baking.
Is a high quality caramel.
Passed down over generations.
And soft and gooey. We are very humble women. And we come from a very humble family.
A humble, hardworking team that's also been humbled while trying to pursue their baking business.
To be honest with you, we're hanging on by a thread. It's hard. It's just plain hard. Yeah, because the prices just keep going up.
Bakers are battling increased energy and production costs, tariffs, and a global cocoa shortage.
Buying product that has increased maybe 30–40% for us. I mean, a case of chocolate was $167, and it's just chocolate chips. It's killing us to raise the price, but we have, us little businesses here, we have a hard time. And then COVID started a trend for people to start baking at home.
Which created competition and a challenge.
We've had people tell us,
but also a chance for change, growth,
any extra ingredients,
and a brand new business.
If it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Heiser's Sweet Co-op is under the same roof as her humble cookie shop.
These types of spaces are just so important for people starting out. And that's kind of how it started.
A commercial kitchen that helped this Aliquippa wife and mother of two turn her baking hobby into a business.
I think I sent out like 127 dozen cookies in 2 weeks, which takes up a lot of space.
she's done work for the Steelers. She's done work for other corporations, multiple years. And her forte is the decorated sugar cookies, and then she does cakes and cupcakes.
The shared kitchen space. I don't think people understand how important it is. I would have never been able to go from just doing it as a hobby, as a stay-at-home mom, and find my own place, have that $2,000–3,000 overhead a month. It would have never been possible.
Third.
Heiser's helping bakers fulfill their dreams while humbly hoping to keep hers alive too.
Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8. I need one more.
While counting on sales at the cookie shop to increase.
I don't know what next year is going to do, what's going to happen. We have to make a big decision in December, so we're going to see how the holiday sales go.
Working hard, while just as the sign says, always staying humble and kind, both in her kitchen.
I make friends with the police, I make friends with the fire department.
And in the community.
That's it.
Keep it here. Chronicle is baking up even more cookie stories, including...
I think because we're getting together at the holidays with our friends and our family, and having cookies with us is part of the experience.
A Pittsburgh holiday tradition. Cookie exchanges bringing neighbors together.
It's a community, so it's almost like a tribe.
Chronicle digs into this sweet slice of the season and the local effort to host the world's largest cookie exchange.
Welcome back to Chronicle. We've talked about cookie tables and smiley cookies and many more delicious treats. In fact, when it comes to cookies in Pittsburgh, you wouldn't trade them for anything except for maybe more cookies.
You're exactly right, Janelle. Cookie exchanges are as much in the fabric of Pittsburgh holiday traditions as giving gifts and sharing a holiday meal. And we were there just a few short weeks ago for an attempt to set a record for the world's largest cookie exchange.
Nothing says Christmas like Santa with a cookie.
Fantastic. I tell you what, this is one of the world's best cookies I've ever eaten before.
And this year, Old St. Nick had his pick as the Washington County Fairgrounds transformed into Christmas cookie heaven.
I couldn't carry them all, they're so good.
All in an attempt to create the world's largest cookie exchange.
That's how it came about. Thinking big, because this group does think big, and being a little bit competitive.
You'll remember Laura Magone. She's the wonderful woman behind the Wedding Cookie Table Community Facebook page. The group already set a world record once before, back in 2019.
We established the Guinness record for the world's largest wedding cookie table. And for that, we had 88,425 cookies. On cookies, right?
Mm-hmm. But when it comes to records, much like cookies, 2 are better than 1. So Laura put out a call, and teams of 10 comprised of bakers all around the world quickly got to work.
First, we're going to put our butter in.
Veronica Franzalio and her team, Rudolph and the Misfits, spent hours prepping, even meeting weekly via Zoom to get a game plan together.
Of course, we all want to win. So we each picked a cookie that we thought would present well and is hard to make, not just easy to make.
Their table filled with everything from carrot cake cookies for Rudolph to new snowball cookies created just for this occasion.
Snowball cookies look amazing. I mean, these girls took a lot of time, and the amount of time that we had and to show what was on that tray, just amazing.
Down the road,
Girls, I am so impressed.
Nancy Anselmino and her team of baking beauties were hard at work getting ready too.
These are friends, family that I more or less conned
into joining my little team.
Even her granddaughters helping out as junior team members.
Obviously, she's been doing it for a really long time, and I know that like generations before I've been doing it, so just like keep going.
It's just really special to be here with my sister and my little cousin and my pap and my grandma to just spend time with them.
Yeah. Smiles and laughter filling the kitchens of bakers around the country. That good cheer continuing on the big day, too.
It was unbelievable. The word everybody used was they felt uplifted by the event. I think the holidays can be sad sometimes for people, but what we had here was a community coming together, forming many teams, and people worked together to do something fun and holiday related, and I think everybody just had a grand time.
In all, 67 teams entered the competition, and a grand total of 73,835 cookies were exchanged. Magone says that makes a record for now.
So we have to wait and see if anybody decides to challenge this record, and whether someone else does or does not. My group wants to do this again next year. They told me they want to do it every year, so we have to see.
Minutes away on Chronicle.
It was like combining Christmas with like trick-or-treating.
It's a hometown holiday tradition. Cookie walks.
I'm a cookie queen. I like cookies and I like baking, so it's a labor of love for me.
Chronicle visits 3 counties to see how this sweet tradition comes to life.
As we welcome you back to Chronicle, we're learning many cookies really have a sentimental value.
We're talking about recipes passed down from generation to generation. Some even stopping to put pen to paper and write down the ingredients for fear it could be lost forever one day. And I speak with a baker who was one of the people to make sure her grandmother's recipes could live on forever. These handwritten cards, decades old, are treasures to Cynthia Farich. Preserving the past, she says, started with one simple realization.
Family members started asking me, because she was in her latter 80s and her health was beginning to fail. And I realized if we didn't get these recipes written down, they would be lost.
So she sat down with her grandmother and began the delicate process of turning memories into measurements.
I was starting to ask her, how do you make this recipe? And she would say, oh, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Well, how much? Well, I don't know. A handful. Well, how much is a handful? You know, a pinch.
Today, Cynthia shares those family recipes, including her grandmother's biscotti.
So now we have the dough. Here's where it gets fun.
For her, these aren't just cookies, they're childhood.
I have such fond memories as a little girl of my mother and my grandmother together making cookies. The strufoli, the butter balls. Some people call them snowballs, some people call them tea cakes. The pizzelles, of course, my grandmother would make. The biscuit. We called them biscuit.
She spent years testing and tasting to make sure every recipe was as authentic as Grandma made it.
When I asked my grandmother to collaborate with me on writing these recipes, because they weren't written down, like most families don't have their recipes written down. So once we did that and put pen to paper, then she wanted it finished. In other words, she wanted it published. So that was her idea. She had the vision. I just wanted the recipes for our family.
That vision became the cookbook, Mamma Mia Cucina, and Cynthia eventually became a culinary educator. Now, even after her grandmother's passing, the connection remains.
She's always with me, always. I can hear her voice as I'm teaching a class, as I'm making a meal, as I'm making one of her recipes.
Sometimes all it takes is a smell.
I made the anise pizzelles all day. The next morning I woke up and the smell permeated my house. I walked out of my bedroom and that smell of anise, it just brought me to tears, because I could just feel my grandmother, because that's how her house smelled. I set this right down in the middle.
To Cynthia, these cookies are more than dessert.
Cookies are sweet. They're desserts, they're sweet, but they also represent the sweetness of life. That's our history. That's what connects us. And once the connections are gone, they're gone.
But for her family, those connections live on, one cookie at a time.
Nowadays, when a Pittsburgher goes for a walk, they typically check their smartwatch and begin counting their steps.
But steps don't count when cookies are involved. The sweetness is why cookie walks have become a Pittsburgh mainstay.
And they're the kind of event where you'll come for the stroll and then stay for the sugar.
I'm a cookie queen. I like cookies and I like baking.
Deborah Consoli is the organizer of the annual cookie walk at the Sewickley United Methodist Church. She says the annual event brings together the church community and the broader Sewickley community.
We usually sell about 450 dozen cookies, and the church, all the people in the church make the cookies.
The Cookie Walk fundraiser is held the weekend before Thanksgiving and offers up about 80 different varieties of cookies.
We also have gluten-free cookies for everyone, and specialty cookies like Lady Locks and Buckeyes and things like that.
Chocolate chips over here.
Meanwhile, in Hopewell Township, Beaver County, a different kind of cookie walk is underway at Coons Market. This walk helping neighbors in that Beaver County community stock up on cookies ahead of the holidays. And in Irwin, Westmoreland County,
It was like combining Christmas with like trick-or-treating.
Chronicle was there earlier this month for the annual cookie tour, the yearly tradition giving neighbors a chance to shop local and collect cookies while traveling through a town that makes you feel like you're home for the holidays.
I just always felt like I was in a Hallmark movie. When I'd look around, I'd see kids with cookies and a carriage going around town, and it was just very magical and very happy to be a part of it.
And organizers hope they can carry on the cookie walk for many more years to come.
Because of the excitement that something like that brings, and it brings a new dimension and a joy to the town that they've been doing for years, and to be able to carry that on is, I think, an honor.
Next on Chronicle, everyone's got a favorite.
My personal favorites are Thin Mints and Lemon Ups.
Chronicle gets you ready for the start of the upcoming Girl Scout cookie season. And we get an exclusive first taste of this year's brand new cookie.
Right now, we're in the heart of the holiday season, but in just a matter of weeks, the decorations will come down and we'll shift into a brand new year.
But even when the calendar flips, there's still one thing on our minds: cookies. Girl Scout cookies, with orders kicking off in mid-January. So Chronicle caught up with some local scouts and their families to find out why Girl Scout cookie season is about much more than a sweet treat. It helps build a strong sisterhood.
My favorite cookie is the Do-si-do and the Thin Mint.
My personal favorites are Thin Mints and Lemon Ups.
I think that the Do-si-do is an underrated cookie.
My favorite flavor of cookie is the classic Thin Mint. I love Thin Mints. I always have. They're really good in the freezer, as many say.
When it comes to Girl Scout cookies, everyone has a favorite or two. But when Girl Scout cookie season launches in January, it's about a lot more than just sweet treats.
Girl Scouts are doing great things all year, but you know, you drive past your Shop and Save and you see the Girl Scouts out. Like, it's a really big time for visibility. And it's also a really big time for girls who join troops in the fall to really get to put those skills they've been building, you know, to use on kind of a public forum in the spring.
Customers.
Chronicle visited with some local scouts to talk about their experiences with this annual event.
Whenever it was my first year, we had a delay in the cookies, and I dressed up as a grandma, and I said it took so long to get these cookies, now I'm a granny scout.
And also some of the life skills they learned along the way.
At the cookie rallies, we did practice booths for the kids, and they would split into two groups, and one group would pretend to be customers and one group would pretend to sell cookies to the customers. I think we got our first customer. I think the girls had a lot of fun doing it, because it gave them experience with the booths without the stress of talking to strangers.
Or take a couple of them shopping with.
Some troop leaders sharing more about how those door-to-door sales skills are built.
We also do mock door-to-door sales. So one year we had Home Depot donate a door where the girls actually could knock on the door, and our older girls were behind the door acting like customers. And that was a lot of fun.
But that's only one ingredient in the Girl Scout cookie season.
Yeah, so I would say cookie season goes through a few different phases.
The season works a bit like this. In January, you'll likely get a knock on your door, a young scout looking to take your cookie order. Some of those girls even finding success putting their order forms in some unexpected places.
We usually ask my dentist to buy cookies, and everyone I sell to is really enthusiastic about it. So they'll usually, like, places that I go to, like the dentist or the doctors, will take a sheet and we'll just like leave it at the dentist, and like people can like sign it and buy cookies for delivery.
In mid-February, the scout that took your cookie order will deliver them. And if you maybe finish them within a day or two, don't worry, because this is when cookie booth sales begin. And remember, in both cases, if you don't want to buy a box of cookies for yourself, that's okay. You can donate directly to the Girl Scouts to purchase cookies that can be donated to the armed forces, essential workers, or community-based organizations.
For the past 3 years, we've donated to the St. Clair Cancer Center. We've kind of built a relationship with them. And my troop goes, we sing songs for the patients that are there that day. And I feel like we kind of take over the floor when we're there, which is true.
This year, our troop, or our service unit, was able to pick where we wanted to donate our troop gift of caring cookies to, and we chose the Baldwin bus drivers. They were having an appreciation breakfast for them, so we were able to allow each of the bus drivers to pick a box of cookies and take home with them for that.
Other proceeds help the girls go on adventures that they might not otherwise be able to experience.
You get to decide, that's your money, you get to decide if you guys want to go on a trip, if you want to do an activity. Like, they get to understand, you know, all their hard work pays off in like a tangible way.
My troop went to Hershey Park and the state capitol a few years ago. And we always go on camping trips, which are also really fun. We do different patches like robotics and horseback riding, and we get different badges from that. And there's like a wide variety of things we do with the cookie money. It also helps pay for the camps in general. Like, it helps pay for like water bills and electricity bills for the camps.
We've also done things like visited the Moonshot Museum and did I think there's space science investigator badge.
All while building lifelong bonds along the way.
Selling cookies is a very good way to bond with fellow Girl Scouts.
And what's sweeter than that?
2, 1.
Oh, maybe this Chronicle there for an exclusive taste of this year's brand new Girl Scout cookie.
It's called the Explore More, and it is a Rocky Road inspired cookie. So it's like a chocolate sandwich cookie, and it has like an almond marshmallow cream center. So they're kind of like, they're like crunchy and they're chocolatey and they're very, very good.
These Girl Scouts already giving it rave reviews.
It's very chocolatey. It's so rich. I love it.
And ready to use it to help inspire the next generation of Girl Scouts.
We were already talking about how we're going to incorporate that into our cookie rally, talking about whether or not we wanted to do some kind of Sunday bar because it's a Rocky Road cookie. So we're excited.
So if there's one thing that's clear from all these stories, it's that in Pittsburgh, any time of year is a good time for cookies.
And we want to thank Lily Coleman and the entire team from Chronicle for helping us share these sweet stories. And we want to wish all of you at home a very happy holiday season. Thanks so much for watching.